Well, my name's Dave Kershaw, and I ride under 125cc _ alive. I ride for charities on little 125cc motorbikes. So I pick 125cc motorbikes because they are economical. They allow you to see the scenery while you're riding along, all the sights, the sounds and the smells, really get to one with the countries that you're in. They're cheap to run, and you can get loads and loads and loads on these little 125 motorbikes. I go up with my wife. We've been 3 years in a row now to the Netherlands to go and see the World Superbikes, and people are amazed on how much gear that we can get on. Last year I actually took a photograph, which I really should show you, of just how much gear we had, plus 2 of us, plus doing the speed limits, and still averaging 100 miles to the gallon. I just think they're phenomenal little machines. They've certainly come on since I first started. So I started 30 plus years ago, and back then I had a Honda 90 step through, one of these little sort of shopping bikes, and I met up with a great bunch of people, the British Motorcyclist Federation, right up in the north of Scotland. Back then I had no money, and I just decided I need to get out, and I just want to go and see things for as little amount of money as I can. Great, I'll jump on my little scooter. So off I went, and basically I've been riding with them ever since. Last year I decided that I wanted to utilise my 125 prowess, as it were, having already gained some with the British Motorcyclist Federation previously. I wanted to go and enjoy the rides, but also give back where I could to some really valuable charities. So last year I actually did about 1,200 miles, something like that, up to the most northerly point in Scotland, and a bit of touring, then back down in a weekend aboard the 125 Comet, now known as Pepper. Following on from that, I then embarked on the North Coast 500, which I did in 13 hours non-stop, again aboard Pepper. That was camping up there, and that was in aid of the Blood Bikes Cumbria and the Great North Air Ambulance as well. So I accomplished that, I think it was around about September. Obviously it's all YouTubed and GoFundMe, yeah. And so I ran 2 GoFundMe pages for that, and I managed to get some money. I learned some really valuable lessons from that money just doesn't just fall into your lap doing these things. There's so many people out there, so many great people doing things out there for great charities, and this is the reason why really I understood that you need to start promoting earlier for the upcoming challenges that we've got going ahead. So those 2 challenges really were to start to increase my profile on the Facebook, on the YouTube and other media, all aiming towards a goal, which is the Africa trip, of which 3 of us are now riding, and very exciting stuff coming up with that, which I'm hoping we're going to cover a bit further. But in the meantime, there's a challenge which I was due to do last year, which unfortunately didn't actually happen, which is the Boxing the Compass. So Boxing the Compass is basically the most northerly, southerly, easterly and westerly points of mainland Britain. I will be travelling to the geographical centre of Britain first, camping, and then yomping, if you like, up to the crags, where I will be able to embark upon my journey. So from the centre of Britain, I'm aiming to go down to Lizard Point, and then across to Lowestoft. I will then carry on up the eastern side of Great Britain, through Scotland and up to Durness, and then from there over to basically Ardnamurchan Point. I'll then come all the way back down and pass by here, which is Carlisle, and we'll end up back at the centre of Britain again. So it's around about 1,200 miles. I've been very lucky in that I am being sponsored with through a bike manufacturer to undertake this on one of their machines. Now, there is a big reveal that will be coming up on the 15th of this month as to which bike that is, as well as all of our merchandise and livery that will be available for sale, of which proceeds obviously go to the charities. With this particular challenge, I'm looking to undertake this as quickly as I can. I'm not entirely sure how long it's going to take. It's whether or not, it depends on the weather really. I'm doing this in May, 6th of May, and it should be quite good weather by that point. It's normally quite a good window, in which case I should be able to average probably 400 miles a day, something like that. The charity that I'm doing this for is a charity that's really close to my heart, really, because believe it or not, I used to be in a karate club, and I used to help with what they used to call Little Dragons, which is youngsters, very young. And this karate club basically takes people of all ages, but they have brought on some fine fighters, as it were, what they call kumite, those that excel in that discipline. And bearing in mind this is just Penrith, they have a great number of people who are in the England squad, and certainly a couple who have actually made it to the England selection and therefore the team. However, the youngsters, they have to pay for all of the events that they must attend. It's like a league table. They must attend these events and gain points in order to even hopefully be selected for the team. Now, this obviously comes at a great cost, especially when I'm talking about some of these positions that are abroad, for example, and can cost up to £1,000 per entry. And that is assuming that, believe it or not, they don't proceed any further, and if they have to, and they have to then alter tickets because they are actually proceeding in the competition, then that can substantially rack up even further if they get through to the finals. Now, one of the pities about our sport, the karate in this country, is it's not seen as an Olympic sport, so therefore it does not actually command a great deal of money from the government and the sports councils, etc. Whereas they are up, our guys, our lads are up, and ladies are up against fighters from other countries where it is, and they're fully funded. And so I want to try and raise as much money as I can for these phenomenal youngsters who dedicate so much time, so much of their lives to trying to perfect and hone their skills in a discipline which teaches them so much about respect, about reliance, self-reliance, about timekeeping. I just think it's such a great club, a great cause, and a real pity that it's not seen in its wider context, if you like, and afforded more money by the councils. Obviously, the challenges ahead for this particular Boxing the Compass, it's Britain. I have no idea what the weather's going to be like. Historically, it's been quite a reasonable window of weather, but it does throw up a different set of challenges, say, to the one going to Africa. With this one, I'm envisaging it could be wetter. It will more than likely be colder for sure. The other challenge is that physically it's going to be on the bike. The bike itself, although it's a fantastic bike, and I'm sure that it's going to do me proud, the bike's going to be put under an awful lot of strain. It will require an oil change before and an oil change afterwards, just to make sure it's in tip-top condition. However, it will be a brand new bike, so I am going to have to do some running in before I actually set off and make sure valves are done and things like that, just to make sure. So there's two elements really, I suppose. There's the physical on myself, which I'll find out how good the seat is. I'm used to sitting on seats for a long time, as I say, 13 hours, for example. But it's a bike that I'm not actually used to yet, so there will be a bit of adjustment, I'm sure. Obviously, one of the main things is that I'm on a geared bike, and hitherto they've been scooters which are not geared. I am used to it. I have 6 bikes. I have every permutation of gear. I have heel toe, I've got the twist and go, and I've also got the normal. But it does take a little bit of time, funnily enough, when you're riding along, to remember which bike you're on. So I've been known, to be honest with you, coming into junctions and things like that, completely forgetting to put a clutch in, things like that. But it'll iron out in the 1,200 miles. It'll definitely iron out. So obviously, physically, there's the bike. There's the working out yourself on how the bike runs, how it works, what sort of speeds are good for it, and getting into a flow. It's a bit like when you go and do a long distance run. You set off thinking and being very conscious about your running, your breathing, your techniques, and all that sort. After a few miles, you suddenly realise actually you've forgotten all about that, and you just find yourself in that flow. And it's the same with motorbike riding. Really, you get into a flow and you just start to go for it. Physically, for me, yes, it's cold, tired, wet, any of the above could be, or could be warm, feeling great. Whatever it is, you have to prepare yourself for it, really, physically. You need to make sure that you, certainly in the mornings, you're well hydrated. You've got to make sure that you've had a decent amount of food, and then make sure that you've got regular breaks, even if it's just for a few minutes. Get off, stretch your legs, keep yourself in tip-top form, and off you go again. So that's one side, that's the physical side. The mental side, you're on your own. Now, personally, I like it. Personally, I find that it's what I enjoy doing. It's where I immerse myself, really, is in being on your own, being at one with your surroundings. However, complacency, you've got to be really careful that complacency doesn't creep in. You've always got to be sharp. You've always got to be doing the shoulder checks, and because it's that one time you don't do it, that's when it'll come and bite you. You have to keep yourself alert. And again, that kind of goes back to years and years of riding, the previous ones that I've done as well, just to kind of keep you in check. I ride through the year, so it's not like I've put the bike away for winter and then I'm coming back out and it's all about trying to reprogram your mind. I'm used to that, and it just keeps going. Obviously, with a challenge such as this, which is the next step up again, really. Obviously you've got the North Coast 500. Everybody knows about it. That's why I did the North Coast, so that hopefully it was a sort of a wham, a wow factor. And to do it in one day was a critical element of that. This one is obviously the next step up. This is round about 3 times as long, but again, people can relate to it, and that's what what I was wanting, really, is the people will have gone on holidays, let's say down to Cornwall or something like that, and they probably think, oh my goodness, this is a long journey, I'm carrying this on, I'm going the whole lot. But with that comes a sort of sense of trepidation. Yeah, I've set myself up for something that's quite, it's quite reasonable. It's quite a big challenge. I am quietly confident that I can do it, as long as everything goes okay. I also know that I've set myself up as well, whereby I hope it all goes okay. I hope I don't get injured. I hope I come back in one piece, because as much as I want to do this as a sort of tick towards, I need to make sure I'm in tip-top shape for the big one, which is obviously the Africa and back, which is a dream come true, which is some people say once in a lifetime. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I could hopefully go there again in a couple of years if that's what, because that's the point. That is the whole point of the 125. It doesn't cost the earth, literally does not cost the earth to go on these economical green motorcycles. So I could go again in a couple of years' time. I am also very excited. I am. I mean, you're probably seeing it in my mannerism. I keep creeping forward because I am so excited. I'm excited to be doing the trip. I'm excited to be doing it for these guys. I really am. But I'm also excited to be promoting British, which is another big area that I'm wanting to do. You know, I want to make sure that anybody who sponsors me, any of the equipment that I use, where possible, is British. So to be able to showcase that as well along the way is just like a dream come true, really. So obviously there's two elements to this challenge. One is, what if I, you know, when I succeed, hopefully, or one being, what happens if I don't succeed? So obviously I'm hopeful that I do succeed in this, and if I do, I'm hoping that this is going to grow. I say the brand, the 125cc_alive brand, if you like, and the focus of that brand is not for me. The focus of that brand is to make sure that I can make as much money as I can for charities. That is my focal point. I don't make any money on doing this. I do gain experience. I do gain an unbelievable sense of pride in doing it, and certainly to be able to go and see the charities and hopefully hand them a decent check and see that they're going to survive another year or two would be a dream come true for this. So if I succeed in this, it's hopefully going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger, and hopefully I can make more and more and more money for people, and hopefully as well I get to go to the Arctic Circle next year, which is hopefully going to be the next thing. I also hope that it's going to benefit those people who are helping me. You know, I'm not going to lie, I want to promote and help as much as I can anybody that helps me along the way at this early stage. If I fail, it'll be hard if I fail. I'm not going to lie, it'll be hard. Depends on what failure it is. If it's a motorbike failure, we can pick up on it and we can learn from it and move on. If it's a catastrophic failure of myself under a car, for example, which I really hope it's not going to be, I will still take stock of that. You know, I will not be defeated, and I won't see it as a failure per se, as long as hopefully they still get the money and that people realise that I've tried my best. You never learn if you don't fail. And I've learned that over the years. I've had some real close scrapes in different things around, you know, throughout my life. And you take from that. And as long as you take from that and learn, you know what not to do. So it could be that a failure potentially in this, even a small failure, is something I learn for when I'm doing the big one. Do you see what I mean? So I don't really see, hopefully there will be no such thing as a failure. One of the things though that would really cut would be that I do the entire challenge and that there's very little money comes in, which happened in the past, and I would see that as a failure, and I would see that as a failure on my part, really. That I need to make as much as I can. I keep saying it, but I need to make as much as I can for these charities. And in this case, obviously, for these youngsters. These youngsters, not just them, but their parents, their siblings. You know, so many people go into one youngster hopefully achieving their ambition and representing Great Britain at top level. My small part in hopefully making them achieve that is to try and make as much as I can to allow them to do that. If I don't get a reasonable amount of money for these people, I think that's the biggest failure. I think that would be my biggest failure, to be honest. My biggest fear, without doubt, is that I don't raise enough money. I have to raise the money. I need to get the money there. I need these guys deserve it. They really do. You know. So I would have to say my biggest fear is not upholding my end of this challenge and not promoting it enough for them to get the money.
And how would it make you feel?
I'd be gutted, absolutely gutted, if we don't reach a decent target. Again, the club very kindly say £1 is better than we had. But I want to really promote this. I really want to promote the whole thing. and I'd be gutted. I really would. And you know, to be fair, it's people, it's external people that are really helping me push this as well. A one-man band is only, you know, is okay, and that's how I did it to begin with. But people such as yourself and the fantastic sponsors that I've got, obviously the motorbikes will be revealed soon, but they have been absolutely amazing. You know, they've offered my solo bike for this one, an additional 2 for going to Africa, so that's 3 in total. The spares, the clothing, the kit, anything they can do, they're modifying the bike specially for us. You know, they are people I cannot thank enough. At the very inception of all of this, the people I have to thank the most is Cheshire Mouldings. Without Jackie and John allowing me to use their brand and helping me, none of this would have happened. Of that I am pretty sure. None of this would have happened. So, you know, I really need to thank Cheshire Mouldings. I also need to thank, obviously, recently a fantastic British company has thrown himself completely into this, completely. And when I say completely, he's looking at going to the Arctic Circle with me next year and potentially closing his business down for a month. So, you know, he's thrown it in, and that is 2 to row. So that stands for turn up, turn on, ride off. And it's a chain oiling system. And I just can't thank Roger enough. He's just absolutely been fantastic. Numerous other people as well, you know, but it's all of these people together, all the people behind the scenes. I'm just a focal point. That's all. And, you know, as dashing as I'm sure I am, and I come across so wonderfully, I am just one person, but only one person of many people behind me. So I would just urge people, if possible, please do give as much money as you can for this ride. And I sincerely hope that I can do another one soon, some catch-ups, some follow-ons. It's all going to be blogged. There will be YouTubes and Instagrams along the way to see how I'm getting on. And then we can hopefully get back to the next one. Yeah, it's just about making sure that you're in the best position as you can to make sure that you have given it your best shot. And that's all I can do, to be honest with you. The machine will give its best shot as well. And hopefully the two of us together, we will come out of it smiling and accomplish it and make a stack of money, I hope, for this fantastic charity.